Okay. So, guys, today let's go ahead and let's start in a seat. Give yourself a moment to find what feels like a comfortable seat and to check that the spine is truly upright. You might have a tendency to lean forward or alternatively to lean backward. So just find that happy medium, root down through the sit bones. Inhale those shoulders up toward the ears and then exhale, let them melt gently onto the back. Think of drawing your chin back slightly. So you should feel your ears come over the shoulders a bit more. Often that engages through the navel and just counters some of that text neck that we often do throughout the day. Once you're here, I invite you to soften the eyes, soften the jaw, and to begin to draw awareness to the breath. Notice the quality, the pace, the depth. And then consciously deepen that inhale and lengthen that exhale. We can introduce a slight constriction in the back of the throat, our ujjayi breath. Not only is this a steadying breath, but it's also a more efficient breath. We learn to use that constriction in the back of the throat to draw air in almost like a vacuum. Really inhaling fully, exhaling efficiently with strength. On your next inhale, we can bring the arms out to the sides and up, palms touch overhead. On an exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Bring the right fingertips to the mat or to the low back. Gaze over the right shoulder. Keep drawing that left shoulder down and back. It tends to creep up here. And find that breath again. On every exhale, we have an invitation to twist a little deeper. And every inhale, we might come out of the twist just a bit as we feel our body expand. On the next inhale, try to lift the hands but not undo the torso. And then very consciously untwist, reach those hands up. And exhale to the other side. Again, this time right shoulder draws back. Every inhale we lengthen, every exhale we twist. On your next inhale, again, lift the hands, but keep the twist. And then consciously untwist, raise those arms back up. On an exhale, we're going to bring the hands forward, come to hands and knees. We'll take a couple rounds of cat-cow here. Inhaling to lift the tail, let that ripple up through the back into we're lifting the heart, lifting the chin. And then again, start with the pelvis, tucking, rounding, pressing the mat away. We'll move in time with our own breaths. So whatever that looks like for you, it's a great place to keep the eyes closed and just feel it out from the inside. One more full cycle. And then from here, we're going to introduce some hip circles. So bring the hips over to the left until your right knee doesn't have much weight in it, and drop them back over to the right till your left knee doesn't have much weight in it, and bring them forward. And keep doing that, finding these really big hip circles for yourself. And then once you come back forward, we'll just alter the direction. One more. Once you're back to your original position, we're going to slide the hands forward a handprint, and we're going to play with that slow entry into down dog that we had been doing by tucking the toes under. Inhale, finding this extended cow pose. Hands are ahead of the shoulders. And then on the exhale, use the tail, tuck it, draw it in, press the mat away, hover the knees up. Inhale to slowly lower, finding cow. Exhale to tuck and round, lift those knees, press the mat away. We'll just do one more. And this time press all the way up and back. Find your downward dog. Now, if accommodating a wrist here today, please feel free to lower the elbows down, finding dolphin. We'll actually do that quite a bit throughout this practice. Additionally, we can always experiment with tenting fingertips and working down dog that way. Wherever you are, give yourself 2 more breaths to just explore in this shape, moving if that feels good, finding stillness if that feels good. We're going to do traditional sun salutations today. Or not, I always say that, but the traditional ones are the ones that aren't most common in class. So we're going to do the ones that are most common in class. They're not actually traditional. We'll do sun sal A. So start by looking toward the hands. Then choose which foot you're either going to step forward with or use both feet to gently hop. Inhale, long spine, look forward. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms out to the sides and up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, hands up. We're going to add a side bend here. Turn left palm face forward, thumb and fist. Grab that wrist with the right fingers. And exhale, pull to the right. Really root down through the outside of the left foot. Press the hips to the left. Keep reaching to the right. On an inhale, slowly lift to center. Switch that grip. And exhale the other direction. This time rooting down through the outside of the right foot. Inhale slowly up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Soft knees, because we're still early in class. Inhale, long spine, look forward. Exhale, we can plant the hands, either step one foot back or fly both back, whatever feels best to you. And then just like last class, we introduced something other than a normal vinyasa. We're going to do that again today. So press yourself back to downward facing dog to start. And then I want you to lower both elbows to the mat. And you might do this both at once. You might do one at a time. But lower both elbows so we're in a dolphin pose. Now from here, I want you to really soften into the shoulders, just like gravity bring you down, and notice what that feels like. And then think of pressing into the elbows and lifting out of the shoulders. This is where we want this pose to be. Okay, so we're not dumping into our shoulders. We're still pressing the mat away with our elbows, with our forearms, even with our palms, if we get some good traction there. Now you're gonna have the option to stay here, or you're gonna have the option to bring this through to a vinyasa. And it's a really funky transition. Basically, we're gonna go from here to chaturanga. So I'm gonna look forward at my hands, and I'm gonna think of as I rock my hips forward, my elbows are gonna lift until they touch my ribs and I'm in this chaturanga shape. So if you need to watch it once, please feel free. But look forward, grip with the hands, rock forward, find chaturanga. Maybe press up from there. Maybe inhale, coming through to a cobra or an upward dog. And then we might find that chaturanga again and press up and back to downward facing. All right, so that's an intense one. I want us to keep working on our forearms though. So from here, we're going to bring it forward again. So either use the opposite foot than you used last time, or if you hopped, hop again. Inhale, long spine, looking forward. Exhale, fold, let that go. Inhale, rise all the way up, sweeping those arms out and up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale, bring the hands back up. This time we're going to interlace all fingers other than index fingers and pull to the left. Hips go to the right. Inhale through center. Switch the cross of the fingers, including the thumbs. And then exhale to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, fold, soft knees. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, soften. Plant those hands, either step, again, not the same foot you stepped back with last time, back, or hop back. We're gonna move through that same progression though. So we'll start by pressing to down dog and then lowering both elbows to the mat, one at a time or both at a time. Keep pressing that mat away. Again, option to stay right here. This can be a really strong shape. It can also be a great shoulder opener to start off class. If you want to play with that movement, you'll look forward, and as the hips rock forward, the elbows lift up. We can pull through to our back bend, maybe lower again, and find your way up and back to downward facing dog. From here, look forward. This time we're all going to hop. All right, so just soften the knees and take a nice soft hop forward. From here, step the feet wider than you normally would for a forward fold, but not as wide as you would for a wide-legged forward fold. So feet are maybe just inside the bounds of the mat. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms out to the sides and up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Okay, so we are going to step the feet beneath the hips for just a moment. We're going to visit that forward fold that we just tasted there a little bit later after we first do a back bend. So let's start with bringing hands to hips, thumbs on either side of sacrum, that nice flat bone on the back of the body. Press into the feet, lift the kneecaps. Firm up through the thighs. Now the engagements of the pelvic floor, it starts with drawing sit bones toward each other. So you might feel your hips externally rotate just a little bit. Keep pressing evenly into the feet even as you do that. Then I want you to think of coccyx to pubic bone and pubic bone to navel, low ribs to hip points. All right, so from there, we're kind of in this concave shape on the front side of the body, which seems counterintuitive for entering into a back bend, but that's what's going to hold us. So as we go forward, that tension remains on the front side of the body, and it becomes our support as we inhale to lift the heart, lift the chin. Keep pressing into the feet, keep drawing the tailbone forward. Flex through the glutes, lift through the heart. We're here for a couple more breaths. On an inhale, use the breath to inflate the body, come all the way up to standing. Reach those arms out to the sides and up. Heel toe the feet to that width again. And we're going to soften the knees. Exhale, fold all the way down. So we're in a slightly wider forward fold than we'd normally be in, which can be nice at the start of class. We might be able to straighten the legs a little more than normal. But let's crawl the hands toward the right leg. Bend the right knee a little more as you do so. You should feel a nice stretch in that outer left hip. Every exhale, let the torso get heavier. Inhale, crawl back through center, and then to the left foot. Right leg straightens, left leg bends. Again, get heavy with the torso here. Inhale through center. And this time we get to just exhale and fold forward. At the start of class, it could feel really nice to grab opposite elbows and just hang. Maybe sway side to side or let the torso gently bounce. It's one of my favorites. Maybe shake the head, yes or no. Now on the inhale, I want you to bend into the knees, so much so that the hips lower into Malasana, our yogi squat. All right, now we're not going to stay here long because it's early in the practice, but I want us to feel the pelvic floor engagement here too, the same when I was cueing in our back bend. So we can bring hands to heart center, elbows to knees, or elbows pressing knees apart, I should say. Now, think of just totally relaxing here, just allowing yourself to sink into the pelvis. Now, what it feels like when you engage the pelvis, draw sit bones toward each other. You should feel the pressure lessen on your elbows from your knees as your sit bones draw toward each other. And then think of drawing anal and urethral sphincters in it up. And maybe you feel like you just got a little stronger in your legs. And then think of lifting the heart right here. That's the pelvic floor engagement that we use to protect our low back in a back bend. All right, it's really a little more obvious here. So you can play with releasing it and re-engaging it, or just holding it for a moment. It's not something we want to engage in every single pose, but when we're protecting the low back for sure. All right, so from here, we're gonna do a couple squats, okay? So I want you to think of gripping through the feet, drawing heels energetically toward each other as you lift up through the legs, come all the way up to standing, lift the arms up. And then exhale, bend back down into the legs, hands through heart center, finding your yogi squat. Just two more of these. Inhale to lift, rising strong, reaching up, maybe taking a baby back bend at the top. Exhale to lower. Last one. Really be strong. Grip in with those feet and inhale, rise. Feel the strength of the legs. Come up, maybe back bend just a little. And exhale, hands through heart center, stay standing. We can return the feet to the front edge of the mat, just pointing forward. And we're gonna move into our first work set. So focusing on this left leg. We'll start by inhaling to lift the left knee up in line with the hip, flex those toes, and then exhale, straighten. Lower the heel almost to the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. And I cued that wrong breath-wise, so I'm gonna do it better this time. Okay, exhale, straighten. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, bend. Last one. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Hold here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend that knee. Bend into the right knee and then reach the left heel toward left sit bone. lift that left knee. So just as actively as we flex that left hip flexor, we're going to try to open it now. So picture specifically the hip flexor just really opening. So we lift the knee, lift the heel. Now slowly lower that left foot down. Maybe give the right ankle a few circles. We're going to work with a few different balance poses today, so I want us to just get kind of comfortable doing that. All right, step toes toward each other. Inhale the arms up, and then exhale, sit back, Utkatasana. Chair pose or fierce pose. Now there's another engagement I want to play with here. So oftentimes in chair pose, we have the natural curve of our lumbar spine, but we have our ribs flaring out. And sometimes we think to correct that, we tuck the tail, but that can actually strain the back. So I want you to just think of closing the gap between the low ribs and the hip points. So your torso might move a little bit, but we're not really messing with the low back here. Once you're there, sink a little lower. Maintain these engagements. We're going to exhale, twist to the left. Elbow outside of right knee. Look over the left shoulder. Root into the left foot, liberate the right foot. We're going to step it back, high lunge. Keep this twist. On an inhale, keep the twist, but bring the arms to a T. Try to gaze toward the left fingertips. Inhale, sweep the left arm forward until you're in a normal high lunge, facing the front edge of the room. Stay here for just a moment. Again, feeling the strength of this left leg. And on an exhale, we're going to hinge all the way forward. Lower the right knee to the mat. And we're going to set up for Hanumanasana, Ardha Hanumanasana. So slide the left heel forward a bit until you can have your right hip over your right knee, your left leg straight in front of you. Hands can always be elevated onto props. We're going to bend to inhale, rock the pelvis forward. Exhale, straighten the leg, pelvis goes back above the right knee. All right, let's do 2 more of those. Use that Ujjayi breath. Next time you have your legs straightened, let's go ahead and hold it there. Hold it there. Keep drawing the toes back. Keep softening the torso down. Now you can choose to really round through the back, let the head hang heavy, or you can choose to maintain a longer spine and reach the heart forward. Softening the torso down a little more parallel to the mat. There's no right answer here. It's just whatever feels best in your body in this moment. You can always be on tented fingers, you can be on fists, you can have props beneath your hands, you can have hands at hips and tilt the torso forward more actively. One more cycle of breath. On an inhale, we're going to bend into that left knee. Curl the right toes under, lift the right knee. We're going to crawl the hands all the way to the back edge of the mat. And then from here, lower the left knee, finding your low lunge. Finding your low lunge. Bring right hand to right knee. Inhale this left arm up. Right hip draws back, left hip draws forward, tailbone anchors down. Put the left thumb in fist. We're going to exhale, twist to the right. So left elbow is outside of right knee. So many options here, and I'm going to change my orientation so that you can see a little bit better. So many options here. We can have hand to hand, working on that same broadening through the collarbones as we did in our yogi squat earlier. We can keep left thumb and fist, have right hand at right hip. You can bring left hand to the hip and work on bending this back leg, grabbing it with the right hand. That gets a little bit deeper into the left hip. But really, it's whatever feels good in your body. You can always, from any of those except for the bound one, curl the left toes under and lift the left knee, coming into a revolved high lunge once again. It's totally up to you. Hold here for just 2 breaths. Use an inhale to gently unwind. Plant the hands. Curl the left toes under. We're going to step back into plank. All right, but from here, find downward dog and lower the elbows to the mat. Dolphin pose. Dolphin pose. So options here. Option to move through the vinyasa that we worked on earlier. Rocking forward to chaturanga. Option to stay in dolphin. Or option to walk the feet in and work on lifting the left leg up and lowering it. Lifting and lowering. Keep pressing the mat away. Don't let yourself sag into the shoulders if you are doing any of the dolphin variations. We just have 2 more breaths to all meet back in a downward facing dog. And then from here, we'll inhale, lift this left leg up. On an exhale, we're going to rock forward, knee toward nose or forehead. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee toward left elbow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee across the body to right elbow. Inhale, lift. This time we're going to exhale, step it through. Step it through. And we're going to start by finding warrior 2. So plant the right foot down perpendicular to the left. Windmill the arms up. Think of opening through the hips. So it's that same engagement where we draw sit bones toward each other that allows the legs to open in this orientation. Arms can hover out to the sides, and it can be nice to just float the wrists a little bit. And then let the hands be light. We don't need to strain out of them. Think of softening the shoulders onto the back. Keep reaching the left knee toward pinky toe edge of that foot. You should feel the right glute engage. As you bend more into this left knee and open it, the outer part of the right glute engages. You can look toward the left fingertips. Let the gaze be soft but focused. Find your breath. On an inhale, lower the right fingertips down. Bring this left arm up over the left ear. Try to find expansion in that left hip. And then exhale. We're going to bring the left hand to the left leg for just a moment. And we're going to shorten the stance into a modified version of triangle pose. Okay? So think of having the feet about the same distance apart front and back as you would in your pyramid pose. But we want the right leg maybe a little wider out to the right side. And the toes are pointed at about 45 degrees. Right, so we have this nice, like really stable base here. It's from here that we're going to find our twisted triangle. So first of all, think of drawing the hips to face the skinny edge of the mat. And then from here, hinge forward. Plant a hand inside of the left foot or on a block inside of it. Right, now this might be already at a point where you're like, ooh, I feel this. You can always just keep the left hand at left hip or at the low back. If it feels okay to open up, I want you to really think of scooping the left hip back and under, and the right hip will come forward. And from there, we can enter into this twist, opening the left arm up, stacking the shoulders, keeping the chin in line right here with the left shoulder. Keep scooping that left hip back and under. See if you can stack the shoulders a little more. Twist a little deeper. And then on your inhale, soften into the left knee to start and sweep the arms back up, come up to standing. All right, nice. That's such a juicy one, I love it. Shoot, where was I gonna take us from here? Sorry guys, I just had a moment. I'm with it now though, I know where we're gonna go. Okay, so from here, look at the left foot, soften into that knee. We're just gonna step the right foot behind it. So we're in this cross-leg position we sometimes visit. Check that all toes point forward, draw left hip back, right hip forward, and then hinge forward any amount. Keep in mind it's better to have a micro bend in the knees than to have them hyperextend at all. So you can modify in that way. And here I'm going to introduce something I haven't yet, which is an opportunity for yet another twist. So we can either have the right hand on the left shin, or if it can reach the mat, have it on the mat. And from wherever you are, think of drawing that left shoulder back, twisting through the navel, lifting the left arm up. Hold here for just a moment. And then soften the knees. We're going to bring the hips down inside of the ankles, finding our Dvipada Kapotasana, our double pigeon, or otherwise known as cow face pose here. So left knee is on top. Flex both feet. Don't worry about how near or far the knees are. That's just a matter of what your hip sockets look like. It's not typically even a matter of flexibility. It's just anatomy. So left leg is on top. We're going to inhale, sweep this right arm up. Reach down toward the center of your back. Left hand, palm face out, is going to reach up toward the center of the back. The hands do not need to touch. You can keep the hands just reaching toward each other. If you can bind, then feel free to bind. If binding comes easily though, then maybe release the bind and actively reach to keep a little more engagement here. Root down through both sit bones, gently hug inner thighs toward each other. Close the eyes. Feel even as there's integrity here, there's softness. Find your breath. On an exhale, gently release the left hand down, fingertips out to the left side. We're going to reach the right arm up, and then we're going to exhale, tuck the right elbow outside of the left knee. So we're in yet another twist. All right, you have an option here. You can stay just as you are. You can reach down and grab the foot with the right hand and think of twisting the left hand behind you. Or the one that feels best to my body here is to bring palms to heart center and work on twisting this way. Give yourself a couple of breaths. Gently release out of this. And from here, we're going to uncross the legs, grab the backs of the legs, and rock down onto the mat. Hug those knees in for a moment, roll side to side. So this is going to be one of those moments where we're rolling around a little bit. Go ahead and plant the feet as though we're going into bridge pose. So ankles beneath knees. And from here, And it might help to watch this once instead of, because I've never cued through this before, I've just done this. And so it might be a little rusty and it might help to watch and then go into it. Essentially what we're gonna do is pressing into the feet very mindfully, lift the pelvis up, finding our bridge pose. And then we're gonna reach the opposite arm up and across and tuck. So like the right arm, I don't know why I said opposite, right arm reaches up and across, left foot tucks under, and we roll to the belly. And then from here, we're gonna find a back bend. And then we'll gently come out of it, thread the left arm under, plant the right leg, roll back, plant the left leg, find our bridge again. Okay? And we're just gonna do that a couple times to each side. It's just it's kind of fun, it kind of feels good. So let's go ahead and start. Pressing into the feet, lift the hips, reach the right arm across the body over toward like above the left shoulder, and then thread the left foot underneath the right leg. Keep expanding this right arm out to the side as you roll onto the belly. You'll be on top of your left arm. Just gently unthread it. You can come all the way down, press into the pelvis, press into the tops of the feet, press into fingertips to lift up into a back bend of your choosing. Nice. And then we'll slowly exit. We start by bringing right fingertips forward, thread the left arm under, roll to the left side, plant the right foot, keep rolling, plant the left foot, lift the pelvis up, you're in your bridge pose. And so we'll go to the other side. Left arm reaches across to the right shoulder and beyond it. Right foot threads under. Keep reaching the right foot and the left hand as you roll onto the belly. Unthread the right arm, lower all the way. Press into the pelvis, press into the tops of the feet. Inhale, pressing into the fingertips to find a back bend. And exhale, soften down. Left fingertips forward, right hand threads under. Roll to the right side, plant the left foot, plant the right foot, and you're back where you started. All right, so you have the opportunity to do that once more on either side. If any part of that didn't feel good in your body, you can always stay here in this bridge pose instead. Sometimes it's just a matter of the body wanting stillness instead of movement. If you liked it, then think of, okay, my right arm comes across, my left foot threads under, and I'm gonna pull those appendages apart. Left toes and right fingertips reach opposite directions until I can come onto my belly. Mindfully make my way into a back bend with the support of hands or without. Release back down. Thread the left arm under. Right foot plants, finding our way back up. And then going to the other side. Until eventually we meet back in our bridge pose. And from here, we can all lower the pelvis down, hug the knees in for a moment, and just give yourself a little rock side to side. The thing I like about movement like that is that it's not just about arriving in any shape. Every single part of the process is part of the movement, and it just helps as we try to protect the body, prevent injury, and build stabilizing muscles to be just as mindful of all those transitions as we are when we're holding any given shape. So from here, we can grab the backs of the legs. We're going to take 3 rocks to get back up. 1 just goes to your bum. 2 comes to a low squat. And 3, we're going to come all the way to standing at the back edge of the mat. Inhale to rise all the way up, arms out to the sides and up. And exhale, hands through heart center. So unlike usual, where we turn a whole circle one direction and then a whole circle the other, we're doing a half circle today. So we did our half circle to the right, working just the left side. We're going to now start with our right side facing the back edge of the mat. We'll end facing the front. So we can begin by inhaling the right knee up, flexing those toes. Exhaling to straighten. Inhaling to lower. Exhaling to lift. Inhaling, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. 2 more. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Last one. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee, bend the left knee. Reach that right heel towards sit bone, left knee, or sorry, not left knee, right knee up. Finding our Uparagamsasana. Really actively opening through the right hip flexor here as we squeeze heel towards sit bone. Lift that right knee. Chest and chin are lifted. We can bend into the left leg as much as we want. And then lower the right foot down, walk it out. Whew, it's a good one. All right, let's go ahead and step the feet toward each other. Sweep the arms out to the sides and up. Exhale, Utkatasana. Again, finding that engagement of the ribs knitting down instead of tucking the tail here. And then exhale, hands through heart center, twist this time to the right. We can look over the right shoulder. Maybe we gaze toward the mat as we liberate the left foot and step it back. Re-engage in the twist. Now keep the twist, bring the torso upright, reach the arms out to a T. Feel the twist stemming from the navel here. Inhale, sweep the right arm forward, find your high lunge. Stay here for just a breath. Exhale, hinge forward, fingertips on the mat, lower the left knee. We're gonna step back into our half splits pose. So slide the right heel forward a bit maybe. And then from here, we're gonna bend into the right knee to inhale. Exhale to straighten. Inhale to bend. Exhale to straighten. One more. Exhale, straighten. This is a hold. Remember that you can either round through the back, let the head be heavy, or you can reach the heart forward as you let the torso soften down in a parallel fashion to the mat. Whatever feels best in your body. And while we ideally want to stay symmetrical to what we did on the other side, if there's already an imbalance in the body, then it might feel like you need to do something different here in order to work toward balance, I should say. So please do accommodate that. On an inhale, bend into the right knee, curl the left toes under, lift that knee, crawl all the way to the left foot, and lower the right knee. Low lunge. Left hand to left knee, right arm lifts. Keep drawing the right hip forward, left hip back. Anchor that tailbone down, ribs knit in. Exhale. Bring the right elbow outside of the left knee, find your twist. Keeping in mind all the options from last time. On an inhale, bring the arms back up through center. Exhale to hinge forward. Tuck the right toes under, lift that knee. Step back. Find downward facing dog. All right, so this is where we have that dolphin pose again. So lower the elbows to the mat. Option to rock through to chaturanga. Option to stay right here. Option to lift the right foot. If you're gonna lift the feet, step them forward a little bit. Keep pressing the mat away with your forearms, with your hands. And then lift the right leg and lower. Lift and lower. We'll just do this a few more times. Make sure you're not sagging into the shoulders. If that happens, then plant both feet to restabilize. One more breath wherever you are. And we can find our way back to downward facing dog. And from here, lift the right leg up. Exhale, knee toward nose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee toward right elbow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee toward left elbow. Inhale, lift. Exhale, step that right foot forward. Set up for warrior two. Windmilling the arms up. Again, sit bone to sit bone. Anchor that tailbone down. Low ribs draw in. Think of right knee reaching toward right pinky toe. Think of the left glute engaging. And then you can float the wrists, gaze over the right fingertips. Shoulders and hips open to the long edge, but we gaze toward the skinny edge. Just a couple more breaths here. Use an inhale to reverse this. Left hand goes on the left leg, right arm lifts. And then swing forward, right hand to right leg. Step up for your revolved triangle. So same shortened and widened. That doesn't make sense. seems to not make sense anyway. But shortened front to back, widened side to side. Stance. Left toes point out 45 degrees. Right hip draws back, left hip draws forward. From there, as you begin to hinge, you can either bring left hand to left shin, to right shin, or bring it down on the mat. It might be a little bit in front of the right foot, that's fine. And then here's the key thing. You can even bend the right knee extra here to think of scooping the right hip back and under. From there, we can engage in our twist. Think of stacking the shoulders, gazing toward the right fingertips. Keep scooping that right hip back and under. Keep twisting the shoulders to open. Two more breaths here. We can slowly lower the right fingertips. Bring yourself back up to standing. Bring hands to hips. Step the left foot out to the side. All toes point forward, legs are crossed. Right hip draws back, left hip draws forward. Go ahead and hinge. Again, micro bend those knees. Left hand to right shin or to the mat. Inhale this right arm open, finding yet another twist. Keep checking that the chin doesn't jut forward, that it stays back in line, and try to draw that right shoulder open just a little bit more. Exhale to slowly release the right arm down, bend into the knees, and set the hips back inside of the heels. So we're in our Dvi Pada Kapotasana, double-legged pigeon. This time we're going to bring the right hand toward the middle of the back, as though patting yourself on the back. And then, or did I say right? I meant left. Left hand. And then right hand's gonna try to reach up and grab it. Now this is way harder for me. If you are right hand dominant, you might find that your right shoulder has a hard time doing this. You can always release the left hand down and around and kind of help the right hand up a little bit until it feels like it's actually at its where it should be. Not to say that the hands are going to touch, just like where its maximum is. And then again, you can reach fingertips toward each other. If you combine, you combine. This is our Gomukhasana, is what it's also called when we do this arm shape. Cow face pose. Mukh being face, same as downward dog, is Adho Mukha Svanasana. Go ahead, release the hands gently. We just have one twist here, so we tuck the left elbow outside of the right knee. Maybe we grab the foot, reach the right hand back. Maybe we keep the right hand at the hip. Maybe we bring palms together. Keep those shoulders drawn down, keep rooting into the sit bones. Gently release out of this. This time when we roll back, we get to stay on our back. So you can uncross the legs, grab onto the backs of the thighs and roll down onto your mat. There might be things that your body still wants. Maybe you want to do more of those bridge rolls. That can feel nice right now. Maybe you want to find an inversion or an arm balance. We actually didn't do any today, which is crazy. That's rare. And so maybe there's something that you're like, oh, I really want to do this. Maybe with those forearm balances that we did today, you want to go up to a wall and try kicking up into a forearm stand, right? It's all about you just monitoring what feels good in your body, what feels desirable in your body, and accommodating that. We have a few minutes, so do whatever it is that does sound pleasant to you, independent of what anyone else might be doing. It's nice because on computers, we can't really see what others are doing. So that helps. Once you feel like you've accommodated any movement that your body wants, you can find either a comfortable seat or a comfortable lying down. And you might be able to tell which of those options your body would prefer. I recently read that the human mind has somewhere around 2,000 thoughts per hour. That comes to about 60,000 thoughts in any given day while we're conscious anyway, 2,000 thoughts per hour. There's so much that our brain engages in, and so much of it is without our awareness. And just the same as our dogs wear paths into our backyards by repeatedly going from point A to point B to point C and so on, we wear paths into our brains. We create patterns. And while a big part of moving on the mat is allowing the body to feel good, allowing the body to feel balanced, that's just the first step. When the body feels good, the mind then has a chance to maybe relax a bit more. It doesn't need to be distracted by the needs of the body. And it's a chance for us to notice the mind, notice those patterns, those paths. Which of those paths truly serve us and our greater community? Which of those paths could use to be less traveled? Our personalities, after all, are simply our conditioned habits, our patterns. It's not something we're born with so much as something we create every moment of the day. How can we create in a way that truly benefits us, that truly nourishes us and allows us to show up as our best and highest selves for our communities? In this last minute, we'll sit or lie down in silence, and I encourage you simply to step into the role of observer of your thoughts. Just notice them. You can begin to consciously invite the breath back into the body, deepening your inhales, lengthening your exhales. You might introduce small movements, wiggles, shakes, rolls, anything that feels good. And using whatever method feels best to you, make your way up to a seat. Ending class in the same, more or less, position that we started at. We can inhale those arms out to the sides and up, palms touching overhead. Exhale, thumbs pause at forehead, pause at mouth, and come to rest at heart center. Might we just take a moment to thank ourselves for showing up and also to maybe set an intention if you're interested in really observing the thoughts over the next few days, noticing if there are patterns, things that we jump to, that we go to more easily than others. And we do this from a place of observation, not judgment. The light within me recognizes and honors the light within each of you. Namaste.